한별튜브.
There's an ESF station, electronic sow feeding station. Ours is called the IntelliTech, and that's based on, let's say, a development from many years ago already. This is, let's say, the current phase of that development, but there's a lot of years of experience and knowledge behind this. This is a feeding station for sows that walk in groups. There are a few reasons why you want sows in groups. One is if the government says you have to do it. Another one is it makes the construction costs a little bit cheaper, because you don't have to have all the sows in crates. If they walk around, you don't need all that steel. And the building can be a little bit smaller. But then you have, for each station, you have a number of sows. They all have an ear tag. And when they come here at the front, the ear tag will be recognized. And the ear tag will communicate with the touch tag box. And they will check, okay, this sow number, let's say sow number 12, today has this amount of feed that they can eat. She hasn't eaten yet, so she's allowed to go in. And that means the doors will open. There's a sensor here that checks when the sow is through, then the doors will close again, because we don't want two sows at the same time in the station. That means fighting time. And there's an additional check here to make sure that indeed the sow that was here walked in. Sometimes you have an aggressive sow that pushes away another sow and then sneaks in. We don't want that. Now, if the sow is recognized, the door will open, and then a dose of feed will be dropped in the trough, just like with the fire tech that you know, and that's a small quantity. Why a small quantity? Because we want to avoid that if you drop too much feed, all that feed goes to waste. If the sow is not hungry enough to eat it, you are wasting feed, and then the feed for the next sow is not fresh anymore. And there's an additional advantage. If you use small portions, you can know exactly, okay, she was there and the wheel turned 6 times. Then you know, 6 times the quantity of feed. We know exactly how much feed that she has eaten. So you get feedback. Sow number 12 today ate according to plan. Or sow number 12 today didn't eat all she is allowed to eat. And that means you can check, because maybe then there's something wrong. Maybe she's sick. Maybe there's something with the feed quality, but you get a warning, and there's a nice list that you can get on your computer. There is a problem with sow number 12. Pigs are very clever animals, so once you are in a group, very quickly you will notice the pigs know when, let's say, the next feeding cycle starts, and you will see only a few sows here. The other ones will wait. The stronger ones, they are here. They are here to claim their feed first. And when they are done, the rest comes. So if you do it nicely, and the pigs are used to it, then you will get a very relaxed atmosphere. There's no screaming, there's no stress. The pigs know, okay, my time is also going to come. Just wait a little bit, and then she can go in. This is a new option. This part, this is now new to help recognize if there's a problem with the ear tag. Sometimes there can be something wrong with the ear tag, and then the sow cannot go in. Now, to avoid that, we have here an additional protection. This will recognize if there's a sow there without an ear tag, and then the doors will open anyway, and the sow can eat a prefixed amount of feed anyway. So if you don't have that, there will be stress, because there will be maybe one sow very unhappy, and sows will, let's say, make it known that they are unhappy. So that's what we don't want. So she can go in, she can still get some feed, and then at the end we can sort her out. So this is an optional part, and that gate can open to left or to right. And here it depends on do you have a static group of sows or a dynamic group. So static group means all the animals come in at the same time and they go out at the same time. Then you don't need to separate, because you know automatically after a number of weeks, the 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, they are ready to deliver the young. Some farms also have dynamic groups, and that means every week a number of sows will go in and a number of sows come out. And then you can use this to automatically sort. If they recognize this sow is now nearly ready to deliver, it can eat, and then the gate will open to the other side and the farmer can pick them up from a small room over here. That you can also do if a sow goes in the station without air tag. You can say, okay, she can eat, and then we will take her out, so the farmer can give her an air tag again. That's important. We made also a small innovation here that's already standard for many years. There's 2 doors, and that is to help prevent that a pig comes in from this side if another pig comes out. That's prevented by having 2 doors. So this is also something that helps to avoid stress. Compared with some, let's say, colleagues of ours, the sorting gate here also is on each station. That means that you don't get a traffic jam. Some have only a corridor where all the sow stations come together, and there they are sorted, but you get a traffic jam. You don't want that stress. So this already has been in use for many, many years in Germany, in Holland, in Belgium, in many countries. There's also in Asia more and more countries who start with this. We have some in Korea, we have some in Taiwan. So I think it's not compulsory by government, but people who build a farm now should really think, is there not a better way to monitor your pigs due to the feedback? Is there maybe an expectation that within 3 or 4 years group housing will maybe become mandatory? Then maybe you can think about it, because especially, like I said, you are saving money on your construction. And this is of course also, this ties into animal welfare. So if that's important, if the consumers in your country have a strong voice, animal welfare is maybe important. This helps to feed the pigs when they are hungry. They determine when they eat, instead of it's 11 o'clock feeding time. So it's better for the animals, it's absence of hunger, and it helps them also to eat more, to eat better. So it has many benefits, and I think this is really something that a modern sow farmer might consider when he builds a new farm. It depends a little bit on the experience of the farmer. I think the maximum you should not go over 65 or 70, and that's the addition that was made a couple of years ago. If the sows are not in a group, but you still want to have sensor-based feeding according to the need, you want to give the sow control when she feeds, we have the fire tag. So normally there's a pipe here with a sensor, you know it. They can touch the sensor, and then again there's one screw here, one turn here that drops 60 grams of feed. And if she touches the sensor again, 60 grams of feed. And again until she stops. So also there you don't drop at a fixed time an amount of feed and hope that she eats it. No, each time when the sow is hungry, she can activate, she can eat. So there's no waste of feed. The feed is always fresh, because here it stays a bit fresh. In the trough, it doesn't. So there's a lot of similar advantages there. Only here it is for each sow individually in one sheep, and there you have it for a group that can walk around free. So this was developed for the farrowing rooms, but as you know, I don't have to explain to you. It's now also possible to use it in countries where they don't have group housing for gestation sows, and you can use it also in the insemination. So the whole cycle of sows can be fed with either this or that. So also with this you can avoid feed waste. You can make sure that the sows stay in condition better. So let's say if the sow is not in condition, after the farrowing phase it takes you 3 times the cost to get her back in condition than if you have kept her in the cost in the first place. So you also save a lot of money. They will stay fitter, so all the things, during gestation the pregnancy will be easier, during farrowing the milk production will be better, the piglets will benefit from better milk production, there is no stress, so it's also better for animal welfare. There's a whole list of advantages that you can tie to these products.
Of course.
And compared with the competitors, we have the intelligence in the machine, so the farmer can also here access a lot of options, which means that if the connection to the computer is not necessary to operate this machine. And here we have options. You see here 1 feed type. We also have farms where they use 2 feed types. So they can mix also here a little bit. It depends on what you want. Do you want to have many options? We can do that. Again, if you want a Ferrari, we can deliver that. If you want a simpler car, we can also do that. It depends. We don't decide what's good for you. You tell us what you want and we can give you the right solution. And all these stations are connected to a box. So again, we are on exhibition, so there's not a lot of data in here, but this box can be at the beginning of each room. And if you have farrowing rooms with Farrowtex, you will have all these connected to this box. If you have Intelitex, you will have those connected to the box. Then it's less, of course. So here you can see how many animals are inside. It's only 2 now. Normally you have a big list. You can also see an alarm unit. So I can see here an alarm that a certain sow number 3, has not eaten. This is what you should do in the morning when you go into the room. First check, is there a problem? If this is okay, you're fine. And you can make here all sorts of different settings. So for example, you can pre-program a lot of curves. See up to 12 different curves. If you have a sow for the first cycle, she will maybe need a different feed strategy than an older sow. Or if you have a different race. So you can say, okay, this sow is now the first cycle, I'll put her on feed curve number 1. And another sow is maybe on a third cycle, she will get a different feed curve. So it's individual, determined how much feed is available, and then the sow can activate when she eats that amount. There's a lot of flexibility here. It's a very, let's say, simple system. Setting up takes a little bit of work to do it correctly, but if you do that, then you're good. It's very simple to use.